All right, good evening, everybody. And I'm sure that you are anticipating this event this evening. It is the first of its kind. This is our first e-hangout at Speakers HQ. And I'm sure that you are all, you're all pumped up as much as we are. We've been looking forward to this. We've planned this. And finally, we have our first session, on this evening. I'll just quickly talk about, what we are, Speakers HQ. I'm sure that quite a lot of you already know who we are and what we do. Speakers HQ is a technologically driven community helping African thought leaders, business leaders, and professionals with the knowledge, network, and tools and resources needed to gain visibility and earn more. So if that's, talks about what you want, I think this is the time to join us right now. So I'm sure that, if you're right now, right here on this stream, one of the things I want you to help us do is to share this stream so that other people can benefit while we introduce our first speaker for tonight. So if you're right there on the stream, please do drop a comment. I'll be in the comments looking at what you're saying. And please do drop a comment. And as much as possible, please help us share that as well. That is, we would really very much appreciate that right now. So today we'll be talking about global positioning. Global positioning. Right now we'll be talking about global positioning, and we have our first speaker, who is Mr. Ekundayo, Dr. Ekundayo rather. Dr. Ekundayo will be the first speaker. I'll quickly introduce him, and then we will have him on this evening. So Dr. Ekundayo is a senior lecturer, author, preacher, and internationally sought after speaker. He has been privileged to consult for corporate organizations as well as speak on various platforms, including churches, independently organized conferences and events all over the world. If you visit this profile, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He's always on one gig or the other. He's always speaking. And I'm very sure that it's very, it's a very busy season for him, and it's really very difficult to get him on board today. But we're very grateful and we're privileged to have him come speak to us, on global positioning this season of COVID, especially. This is the time we need to position ourselves, for global relevance at such a time as this. So we will welcome to our studios, to the Speakers HQ studios, Dr. Ekundayo. And then if there's anything, anything else, I'm sure that we will come back and talk about that. But right now, I think the floor is yours. You can take it away. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for having me here. It's a joy and a privilege to be here, and I'm grateful to you, Mr. Hayo, grateful to my sister, Kemi Ogunkaya as well. Powerful, wonderful people. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your heart, for people. In case anyone is seeing me hooked up with all of these jackets and all of that, I'm wondering, where is this guy in the world? I'm not in the Antarctic. I am in New Zealand, and right now, as I speak, it's about 6 degrees. So please bear with me. Wow. bear with my dressing. I wish to be suited up and all of that, but I have to do what works today. And it's early hours of the morning, 6:08 a.m. So we have very little time to spend. Whenever I want to spend time with speakers, I always prefer like 3, 4, 5 hours where we're able to, dissect things, and also we'll trust the little time we have to actually be able to learn all that we have to learn about global relevance today. For some of you, some of you may not know me, may never have met me before, but I believe very strongly that this is your opportunity to actually learn 1 or 2 things from my own story. So sit back, relax, and grab a pen and paper. I often say it's very important to make notes whenever something like this is going on. You never know. One thing might just be one thing you will add to your to your repertoire, and there you go. It's happening. So do me that favor, grab a pen and paper from wherever you are and make sure that you're learning. Awesome. So who is Dr. Samuel Ekundayo? Who is the purpose preacher? That's where I want to start from. I want to start from my story so that anyone listening can relate. I often like to be able to see your face so that I can talk to your face. But of course, with this, we can't do that. Because speaking to speakers, coaches, and trainers is a very, very a powerful thing, because I believe very strongly that someone is going to emerge and come out to relevance with a message like this. So please pay attention as we go. I can almost remember quite vividly my very first ever paid speaking gig. I can almost remember very, very vividly. It was on a Saturday evening. It happened on a Saturday evening. I just come back from an engagement in church. You know, when you just started out, you just speak for free, and you speak for free, and you speak for free. Nobody knows who you are, and you know, you're just enjoying yourself, you know, curating your message from time to time. But one Saturday evening here in New Zealand, I just come back from that engagement, and an email just came in. And that email reads, "Hello, Dr. Sam." In fact, it said, "Hello, man of God." Because for those who know me, I'm also a preacher. "Hello, man of God. I would like for you to come and do a 5-day program in Solomon Islands." Solomon Islands, by the way, is just not too far away from New Zealand here. It's around here, but it's in the Pacific. You know, 5 days into Solomon Islands. We'll sort your accommodation out. We'll sort your fee out. Would fly you down and all of that. Let us know what you need. Let us know what you want, and we want you next week. That's my first ever paid speaking gig. Paid. Okay, before that I've been doing, and I will still tell you the story before so that you can connect the dots and join it together. Speakers, please listen attentively. And I remember getting that email even before replying. I jumped, I screamed. My wife was with me. That I remember us hugging each other. We've dreamt of that day. We were so excited about that day. It was a day we'd been waiting for. It was an unusual day. No one has ever sent us an email like that requesting for us to come. It was January 2018. I still remember very vividly. So not too long ago, just about 2 years. So in case you're watching me right now and you're listening to this, oh my goodness, you too can come to Global Relevance in such a short time. But I will tell you the story before too, so that you don't miss it. And I remember they asked for my passport to come through. I sent my passport. They asked for my details. I sent my details, and you know, I just sent everything that they needed. And I told them, I said, "I'm sorry, I can't make next week." Because I still have a full-time job. I'm still a lecturer, so I would need to take leave from work and all. And then we arranged it, and I made 2 weeks right after. Please pay attention to this story. And that was how I went to Solomon Islands. And I spent 5 days, 5 good days, delivering my message to that country. 5 good days. Sorry, 5, not 5. I do that a lot. And that was how I delivered that message, and I came back home. It was a powerful, powerful conference. Powerful conference. So many of the people that I met at the conference are still following me to today. You know, and if not for the COVID, I'll be there again this year. The point I'm trying to make is the journey between 2000, the journey to that invitation started in 2016. In fact, precisely December 2016. What happened? I had been speaking way before 2016, but something burst forth in me in 2016. I see, before I started to speak, I was, you know, before 2016, I was doing a lot of things. I was, for those who know me, or those who may not know me rather, I'm a web developer. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a senior lecturer in a university. I'm a programmer. I'm a musician. I'm a poet. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm all sorts of things. I'm a coach. And, I was scattered all over the place with no particular direction. And until that 2016, I heard somebody speak like you are hearing me speak right now. And the person said that it's impossible for me to gain focus. It's impossible for me to gain relevance until I gain focus. The person was literally screaming in my ears as if they were literally talking to me alone, whereas they're talking to a lot of people, stressing the importance that to whom much is given, much is expected. In other words, every single talent, every single gift that you've been given, you will give account. And that really shook me. That really touched me. And I decided that I was going to take that message back to God and ask God, Lord, what is my message to the world? And as I'm sharing this story, I'll begin to draw out the key lessons for you so that you begin to understand why I'm sharing the story with you. Lord God, what is my key message to the world? How do I achieve relevance in my world? And I began to ask that question. And guess what? God spoke to me. For those who are not people of faith, who are not religious, don't worry. I'll still draw out your lessons. Okay, so don't quit here if you're someone who you're always not a person of faith. But I'll tell you why I'm sharing this with you. And he said, help people discover their purpose. That's all. Just help people discover their purpose. That was the day that I found my message to the world. And I soon realized I was not speaking all over the place anymore. I was now beginning to speak with so much confidence. So it's as though I've got a backing, and I believe I do. I've got a backing of the divine, And I started to speak with so much confidence, so much passion, so much zest. It was like, I know this is a message that was created to birth to my world. And I want to just talk to somebody listening to me right now. No, I will share a lot of points as time will permit us today, because I have to finish just about probably 15 minutes before, so that maybe, I don't know if I'll be able to take some questions, but I would love to be able to take some questions. So I'll finish very soon. But one of the key points why I share that story with you, number one, is you must find your message to the world. Nobody becomes sought after by doing it, and expecting some miracle to happen. Nobody achieves global relevance by just speaking all kinds of things. No, you must find your topic, your message to the world. When I found that message and I began to just preach that message of purpose all over the place, whether it was corporate organizations, in churches, in independent conferences, wherever I got to, as I continued to preach that message of purpose, one thing I realized, my value went up. And when value goes up, oh my God, time will not permit us to even stress on this issue of value. When value goes up, people begin to pay attention. People begin to ask, who is this Dr. Ekundayo? Who is this purpose preacher? As in, where has he been all along? How come we don't know about him? How come we've never heard his name? People begin to pay attention. And I want to speak to somebody right now. Have you found your message yet? Or you've been copying people's messages all over the place? You don't know who you are. You've not discovered your identity. See, global relevance begins with mastery. It begins with mastery. It begins with leadership. I'll talk more on leadership in a minute. But let's go back to mastery of your message. Do you know your message in and out? Can you confidently say that you know your message? Do you have a topic as a speaker, or are you all over the place? This one, I can't stress it enough, because many people just speak anyhow and just go, all over the place. But you can never be a top speaker without a topic. Let me say that again. It sounds that's a good rhyme, actually. You can never be a top speaker without a top pick. Woo! I love the sound of that. So the only way for you to, the foundation of becoming a top speaker is to have a top pick. Oh, your top pick will take you to the top. Woo! I feel like speaking like one of those motivational speakers right now. It's your top pick that takes you to the top. See, when you find your topic, what happens is you begin to have a brand, and people begin to associate you with a problem that you're solving. My God. Somebody needs to write that down. People begin to associate you with a problem that you're solving, and as a result, they'll begin to look for you because of that problem. You begin to gain recognition. You begin to gain relevance. They now know that if it is the problem of purpose, if it is the problem of people not being able to identify why they're born, then we need to talk to Dr. Samuel Ekundayo. All over the world, wherever they are. They now know that you are the solution provider to that topic. The world begins to understand that you are the expert on that topic. You are the person that is a master in that area. And that helps you to lead in that area. Oh my God, this one is so powerful. That helps you to lead in that area. That helps you to lead quite perfectly. And every one of us, we are created for leadership. So if you're a speaker, you must begin to see yourself as a leader. Oh my God. Time will not permit us. Time will not permit us. You must begin to lead in that domain. So your topic helps you to identify your domain. You know, until you know your topic, you don't understand where you belong. And that's why people are not paying you. That's why people are not, booking you, because they can't identify, they can't pin you to a domain. They can't pin you to a niche. They don't know the solution that you carry. They don't know the problem that you solve. They don't understand what value you bring to the world. I always say to people, until you find your message to the world, you cannot understand your significance in the world. Oh, it's your message. It's finding your message to the world that helps you to find your significance in the world. And then it is what helps you, which we will talk about also in a minute, is what helps you to find your uniqueness in the world. Nobody pays a generalist. Let me say that again. Nobody pays a generalist. People only pay specialists. My God, this one, we're going to need like 5 hours to expatiate on it. Nobody pays a generalist. See, my wife is a medical doctor. And one of the very things I have learned, in our practice is we have GPs, general practitioners, and then we have specialists. Okay, can you see my two hands? I believe you can. So this is a generalist. This is a GP, right? This is a specialist. Okay. GPs in New Zealand, I don't know where in your country, I don't know how much they pay them. GP, if you go to see a GP for 1 hour, right? Depending on the level of the GP too, by the way, maybe you give them $40 an hour, or maybe at most, maybe $100 an hour. All right. But if you go to see a specialist, a consultant specialist, okay, you pay them what they demand. So the GP's price is general. Is everyone knows the GP will collect $40 an hour and all of that. But the GP demands what you pay. If the GP tells you, let me bring it home. All right, specialists. Let me bring it home a little bit. So specialists are people who focus on a particular problem. In fact, one of my very good friends is a consultant neurologist. And when people go to him and he tells you that it is one sensory neuron in your spinal cord that is giving you the headache that you've been having for 25 years, and he tells you that your price is now $600 an hour. Tell me whether you will not pay it. Because this man had taken more than a decade of his life studying sensory neurons, and then he tells you that $600 per hour is what will solve your problem. Will you pay or you will not pay? or are you going to go back to the GP? Who told you that? Okay, let me just check your vital signs and check your this and see. Okay, so how long have you been having this headache for? But doesn't clearly understand what's wrong with you. Please don't be a generalist. Oh my God. Please don't be a generalist. Be a specialist. And to be a specialist is to identify your domain, is to identify your niche. And as you identify your niche, you identify your message. As you identify your message, it actually begins with identifying your message. When you identify your message, you identify your niche and you identify your domain. And when you find your domain, you become sought after. You become relevant. And this is what happened in my life. When I found my message in 2016, which I will show you a bit of steps. What did I now begin to do between 2016 December and 2018 January that actually shot me into almost into relevance? What was I doing? And I've shared with you, number one, find your message. Number two, begin to preach that message consistently. Consistently. Some of you cannot sustain anything for more than one day. You're already tired. And this is why your message that's why finding your message is so important. Because when you find the true message that you've been given to the world, remember what I said, it's your message to the world. It's not, this don't copy somebody else's message. You find your own. Because when you find your message, you find your fire. Oh my God, somebody should help me type that out. When you find your message, you find your fire, you find your energy. See, this is why I'm speaking with so much passion and energy. I could talk like this. My sister Kemi Ogunke knows me. I can talk like this from now to next year. Especially if it's on the topic that we're talking about right now, finding your message, finding your purpose. Oh my God, I have too many content. So the point I'm trying to make is when you find your message, you find your fire. You find your relevance. You find your uniqueness. People just start to chase after you. And that's why it will help you to be able to deliver that message consistently without getting tired. So if you're here, you want to truly be a relevant speaker, someone who achieves global relevance, you must find your message and you must deliver that message consistently on a daily basis. On a daily basis. DAILY. Some people think it's not a joke. On a daily basis, you must begin to preach that message every single day. Somebody say amen to that. Amen to that. And that was what I started to do from 2016. Somebody said, Dr. Sam, you mean you have a full-time job and you are still preaching on purpose every day? Yes. Yes. I started to avail myself of every platform. Oh, thank God for social media. Oh my God, thank God for social media. I started to pump my message, pump the message of purpose, pump the message of purpose every single day. Number three, the only way for you to pump that message every single day, the only way for you to have that energy is when you achieve mastery of that topic. In other words, you become a student of that domain. Oh my God, if you look at my top shelf here, you'll find almost every book on purpose possible. From Purpose-Driven Life to Nick Craig leading with purpose, to Simon Sinek starting with why, to John Maxwell, how to find your significance in the world, to Miles Monroe, In Pursuit of Purpose. You'll find every single thing on purpose and potential there. That's why I keep them on my top shelf. Literally making sure every single day I am pumped. I am a student of my domain. Somebody should help me type that message. Type it out. Become a student of your domain. You can only gain mastery after you have become a student of your domain, of your topic. You must learn everything there is. I've read over 30 books on purpose, and I'm still reading. It has not stopped. In fact, I'm rereading some of them. You know why? Because when people encounter you, they must meet with transformation. Oh my God. Their lives must change. And the only way their lives will change is when you have achieved mastery of your subject, when you have achieved mastery of your domain, when you're not just one of those speakers. I hate to be one of those speakers. I hate to become one of those motivational speakers. No, I'm not one of those. I'm unique. I'm a master of my domain. I'm a king in my domain. You know, and I used to preach this whenever I preach on purpose. You know, I'm a person of faith, and I would love to just use an example of the Bible here. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, one of my favorite scriptures. The Bible says, after he had created man, he says, and the Lord God blessed them and tell them to and proclaim upon them to be fruitful, to multiply, to fill the earth, and have dominion. 4 key powerful principles. You see that word dominion there? That word dominion refers to rulership. Oh my God. We're going to need like 3 hours to explain this. It refers to leadership. It refers to mastery. It refers to and I always tell people there are 2 things that make a king. If you're a true king, there are 2 key traits we're going to find out about you. You would have territory and you have authority. Oh my God. We're getting deeper. We're getting deeper. See, have you ever seen when we call some people authorities in their domain? We said that person is an authority on a subject. My sister, you know, Samuel Ekundayo, she's an authority on leadership. When you hear her talk on leadership, executive leadership, you'll be like, huh? The reason why you go, huh, is simply because this person has been a student of our domain. She's been studying leadership. She's been investing in leadership. She's been sitting on leadership. The same thing with me. When it comes to purpose, I've read every book's available on purpose. I don't know who is watching me right now, whether you are a pastor or you are a preacher, and you say, oh, but Dr. Sam, is it possible? Isn't the Bible so, the Bible so wide and big? How can I focus on one message as a preacher? Yes. Listen, the Bible says we know in parts, we see in parts. There is a part that has been given to you. Oh my God, I wish we're on Zoom or somewhere where I can draw and write something. My God. See, I need to explain this to you. See, every human being, 8-something billion of us all over the world, we are like boxes on the earth. We are like a jigsaw. Imagine the world as a puzzle, you know, like a puzzle board, right? A jigsaw puzzle. And everyone is a piece on the board, every single one of us, and every single one of us came with a message for the world. So there is a part of, I wish I can draw. There is a part of you, there is you with a message to the world, that if you find your message, you literally fit into the grand scheme of things. I hope somebody is understanding this. That's why I want to draw. You fit into the grand scheme of things. You find your position, your place in the world. And when you find your place in the world, people start to pay you. Oh my God. I pray that someone gets this. When you find your place in the world, people start to pay you. This is why you must gain mastery of that place, that place, that box, that jigsaw, that piece that you've been given. You must gain mastery of it. You must learn everything there is. And number 4, you must build a personal brand around it. You must build a personal brand around it. What's a personal brand? Oh, a personal brand. Hear this one. A personal brand is a widely recognized and largely uniform perception. Please, if you are writing down, write it down. A widely recognized and largely uniform perception or impression of an individual based on their experience, expertise, competencies, actions, or achievements within a community, industry, or marketplace or domain. Oh my God. Let me give you that definition again, because I know I speak very fast and people may not be able to note that down. So let me do it one more time. Glory. Your personal brand is a widely recognized and largely uniform perception or impression of you based on your experience, expertise, competencies, actions, or achievements within a community, industry, marketplace, or domain. You see why that domain is so important? In case you're just joining us, you have missed. You need to go back to this recording. You go back to the recording. You have missed. Time will not permit us to go back. All right. See, I want to draw out some keywords from that definition to shake you, to challenge your life forever. A widely recognized. Somebody said the most valuable speech I've heard in months. Glory to God. Thank you. A widely recognized and largely uniform perception. See, Widely recognized means that everyone knows you as that thing. And that's why you must be a student of your domain so that you can gain mastery of that domain, so that you can lead in that domain, so that when you begin to deliver that message consistently every day, like I said earlier on, you will now begin to be widely recognized for that message. I always say this whenever I teach this, that you must come to a point in your speaking career that people will mention your name. They will mention Kemi Ogunkoya. They will mention Samuel Ekundayo, and they will associate your name with your topic. Until people can associate your name with your topic, I'm sorry, you will never gain relevance. I hope someone is writing that down. Somebody should help me type that out, actually. Until people can associate your name with your topic. So what is your topic? What is your niche? What's your domain? Are you a generalist or a specialist? If somebody is wondering what I mean by that, please go back to this recording. Time will not permit us. Okay? Are you a generalist or you're a specialist? Go and check every single speaker that has achieved relevance. You would always realize that they're not generalists. They're a specialist in their domain. There is something that they preach so well. There is something they speak about so well. That when we mention their name, you can almost pin them to a particular domain, a particular niche. If people cannot pin you to a domain, sorry, it's not possible. And that's why you must build a personal brand around that domain. Another key word I want to bring out from that definition is uniform perception. Uniform perception. The word uniform perception means that who you are in Lagos is who you are in Auckland. In Auckland, New Zealand. I live in Auckland, New Zealand. Okay? In other words, when you find your message, people, if they encounter you in 2014 and they encounter you in 2018, you have not changed your message, even though you have grown. You would have grown, but your message remains the same. That's why I love John Maxwell. I've been listening to John Maxwell since I was maybe 10 or 12, and now I am 35. The man has not changed his message. His message has grown. I have almost all of his books here. His message has grown and all, but the message stays the same. If you're looking for an expert on leadership all over the world, you will know John Maxwell is the man. And one day I was at his conference and he said something. Oh my God. He said this. He said, people have said, John Maxwell, when will you exhaust your topic? He said, can you exhaust a topic that God gave you? Can you exhaust a topic that you've been divinely mandated to preach, to speak, to and I was shocked. Because when we live in a world that people are very microwavy in their mindset. They jump from one topic to the other. They can't stay for a topic. They can't stay on a topic for 1 month. Today they want to preach leadership. Next tomorrow they want to preach purpose, and next tomorrow they are marriage counselor, and next tomorrow they are that. What is wrong with you? Where are you? Are you a headless chicken? Okay, headless chicken is when you cut the head of a chicken and you see the chicken, running all over the place with no direction. Listen, you can never come to global relevance if you don't have direction. If you don't become a specialist in your domain, if you don't build a personal brand around that domain, this is so valuable. This is so important. And I want to share something also. Uniform perception means when people know you as A, they still know you as that A. They must, like I said earlier, they must mention your name and associate it with that domain. They must mention your name and associate it with that problem that you are solving. They must mention your name and associate it with the solution that you carry. You can never exhaust that topic. All right. There's another keyword there, impression. Your personal brand is an impression. You must make an impression on people. Oh my God. With your expertise, so you must be an expert in that domain. With your competencies, you must develop competencies. You must improve on your speaking. Time will not permit us. You must literally. I thank God for Speakers HQ. I thank God for a platform like this where you are being trained to become a globally relevant speaker. Platforms like this, you need them. You need to learn. You need to learn from other speakers. You need to pick up one or two things. You need to not stay the same. You need to sharpen your skill. You need to refine your gift. Because of time, I will just stop on that personal brand. And we'll, maybe another time I could do a whole section on personal branding. But number 5, I believe number 5 is where we are right now. You also must add value. This one is big. This one is big. This one is big. You must add value. You must see. You remember how I said earlier on? Okay, in case you're just joining us, you have missed massively. So you need to go back to this video. Okay, contact them at Speaker HQ if they will allow you to be able to watch it from beginning again. All right, give value. This one is you must add value every single day. And how do you add value? You add value first of all by becoming a person of value. And that's why all of those 4 things we said earlier on, they are connected, they are linked. Until you are a leader in your domain, until you find your message, all right, and you begin to gain mastery, and you are consistently delivering the message, and you build a personal brand around it, it's impossible for you to add value. Because you'll just be all over the place. You will never be able to add value. So adding value means you have to be authentic. You have to be inspirational. You have to share your story. Oh, this one is so important. You have to share your story. And you have to give your audience an experience. That's what it means to give value. The people must come in contact with you and hear you speak, and they are transformed, and their life never remains the same. Their life, people must hear you speak as a speaker. Hello, speaker, are you listening to me? People must hear you speak, and their life will not remain the same again. Information is free, transformation is not. one of my coaches, often say that information is free, transformation is not. They must come in contact with you and encounter transformation. Not just the information they will Google and find it on Google. No, anyone can find something on Google. You must give them value every single time. The reason why, to the glory of God, people would call me over and over and over and over and over and over again is simply because anytime you hear me, you will hear value to the glory of God. Because I'm a king in my domain. Oh my God, that's one statement. We need like 5 hours to unravel it. You must be a king in your domain. All right, so you must add value, consistently add value, if I may add it. Not just add value, but consistently add value. In other words, in your speaking, remember I told you between my 2016 and 2018, if you missed that, please go back. Between 2016 and 2018, this 5 things I'm sharing with you is what I did. And I did it consistently. Because I was a student of my domain, I achieved mastery of that domain, and I was able to give value consistently. I was able to share my story every time. I was authentic enough, because when you find your message, you'll be authentic. You will not be like everybody else. You will not talk like everybody. I know some people, they change their bio every now and then. Their bio keeps changing. Today they are transformational speaker. Tomorrow they are leadership expert. Next tomorrow they are they are this. No, you must consistently add value. Know who you are and stick with it and add value in that domain, in that area. Consistently add value. And guess what? Between 2016 and 2018, watch this. I was giving value away for free. Every single day. And guess what? Now we're in 2020, and I'm still giving value away for free every single day. It never stops. We don't stop giving value. There is no way you will achieve global relevance unless I have traveled to several countries. In fact, there was a time Somebody paid me. Somebody paid me to go and speak in my own country, Nigeria, where I was born, my very own country. Flew me all the way from New Zealand to go and deliver a conference in New Zealand. In Nigeria, sorry. Not in Lagos, not in Abuja, in Ilorin. You must add value to the point that somebody is saying, my God, this guy needs to be in my country. This guy needs to speak on my pulpit. This guy needs to come to where I am. Somebody watched one of my videos one day and sent me a message and said, man of God, we need you in the US. I'm like, sir. He said, yes. And he said this word. He said, we would like to have you online. And then I was like, okay, no problem. I looked at my calendar. The calendar was free at the time they wanted. And he came back and said, sir, we have watched. I know I've showed my leaders. This was his words. I've shown my leaders your videos. And my leader said, no, we can't have this guy online. We need to have him in person. He came back and said, we need to have the value that this guy carries. We cannot have him online. We need to have him in person. He said this to me. He said, his leader said that this guy has to come in person. And they booked me, in advance to come in person. I don't know who I'm speaking to. Somebody needs to hear this and they need to be challenged. You've been speaking all this while, but nobody is calling you. Maybe because you've not been adding value consistently. Maybe because every single time people listen to you, you are refraining from adding value. Some people refrain from adding value. And this is some limiting mentality that has been birthed into us, especially we Africans. And it's an unconscious mindset, that whenever you go to the market, this is where this thing happened to us, especially we Africans. When you go to the market, and you want to buy something, you hear the merchant or the seller. They will be hiding the original value of the thing. they'll be finding a way to cajole you, and people have you've seen that, and you've made it a lifestyle for you to you're hiding the real value. Dump value on people, because it is that value that will make you sought after. It is that value that will make people to look for you. It is the value that you bring. I always tell people this. That your place on every table is determined by the value you bring to the table. Oh my God. Let me say that again so that somebody can type it out. Your place on every table is determined by the value you bring to the table. If you want your place on the table to change, then the kind of value you bring to the table must change. Oh my God. Oh. If you want, let me say that again. If you want your place in the table to change, you must change the value, that you must up your value on the table, because that's when they will look at. Okay, let's talk about, remember, some of us are here and you have a lot of siblings. Okay, do you know in some families the youngest sibling is the one that is sitting on the highest table? Is the one that everyone will pause. They will pause, P-A-U-S-E. They will pause before, until he arrives. They won't start the meeting, because the owner of the table, the shaker of the table, the mover and shaker of the table has not arrived. The one with the value on the table has not arrived. They will say, and guess what? The guy is even late. Oh, he is late. He came late, but everyone will still wait for him. Wow. You know why? It's simply because of the value he brings to the table. They will say, no, we cannot start this meeting unless Reverend so comes. It's because of the value that person brings to the table. I don't know who I'm speaking to right now. Nobody's been calling you. Nobody's been inviting you. You've not been sought after yet, and you're wondering why. You've been laboring. You've been sweating. Listen, it's simply because you have not been dumping enough value. You have not upped your value game. When you up your value game, your position at the table will switch from free, and people will start to look for you. Oh, so every single day, consistently add value. There's something else I want to share, and we'll finish. And I will stop here. I still have a lot of points, but we will stop here because I have a coaching session with someone in 12 minutes. Okay. When it comes to value, I need to touch on something. Please, if you want to become successful, you would have heard some of my mentors say this. If you want to become successful, please don't chase success. Chase value. And I will tell you the reason why they said that. Let me say that again. If you want to become successful, don't chase success. Chase value. In other words, I have seen this one in my life, and I wish we had hours to tell you the story and then bring out the points from the story, because there's a story to it. But I will just tell you the points, and hopefully God will help you to expand it in your heart. Okay. When I was starting out, when I just started out, I thought it was about success, influence and relevance. And see, all of these things that were shared this morning, today, it's morning here, by the way. So if you hear me say this morning, that's what I mean. All of these things were shared today. You can almost tie it down to this last point that we are sharing right now, value. If you are a person that consistently adds value to people, I promise you, write this formula down. It's relevant to almost any niche. And I got it from L. Nightingale, the great L. Nightingale, the great motivational speaker, late now, powerful man. He said these words. He said, if you spend 1 hour per day on that your domain, you remember that domain? If you are just joining us, you have missed. You remember that your domain, that your area, that your niche, that niche area, that one of my very good friends is here, Moses Abayoa. He preaches about you and your domain. Very powerful man. All right. If you spend 1 hour per day on that your domain, on that your niche, on that your topic, on that your message, 1 hour per day, in 1 year, L. Nightingale says you will become an expert. In 3 years, hear this and write it down. Please write this formula down, because we live in one microwave generation. Who thinks that they will just come to relevance in 3 months, in 6 months? So, you are joking, okay? In 3 years, you become a national phenomenon. In 5 to 7 years, you will become a global phenomenon. Let me say that again, and I will say it slowly because I want you to write it down so that you know that this journey you are on is a very long journey. It's not a microwave journey. If you spend 1 hour per day on your niche area, 1 hour per day on your niche area, on your domain, in reading books, practicing, consistently adding value, gaining mastery, all of these things that we have shared, 1 hour per day, networking, connect. Time will not permit us to tell you all the points that I have, but I'm sure Speakers HQ will organize another one. We'll come again. We'll come and give you more value. Okay. All right. The point I'm trying to make is if you spend 1 hour per day doing all of those things, reading, asking questions, networking, doing all of that, in 1 year, you will become an expert. In 12 calendar months, it equates to a diploma in a university. I'm a senior lecturer, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay. You would gain mastery in that thing in 1 year. You become an expert, but you won't stop, obviously. If you continue, if you don't stop because, now I've known, 12 months of mastery. I'm good now. And you stop, you are in trouble. You cannot stop. Okay. In 3 years, you become a national phenomenon. I don't care what country of the world you live in. Somebody says, Dr. Sam, I'm in Nigeria. Things are hard, though. Things are hard, though. Nobody. Listen. I coach people in Nigeria. And people are coming to Global Relevance. I'm a coach and I coach people. I teach people these things. I'm teaching you. I teach them the strategies every single day. And they are coming to Global Relevance. And they are in Nigeria. Is it not that same Nigeria Veladrote is? Is it not that same Nigeria Mr. Jimito is? Is it not that same Nigeria Kemi Ogunkaya is? Is it not that same Nigeria that some great people are there? This is the same principle. It's a principle. And guess what? Principles sustain miracles. We live in a generation that is always looking for miracles, but they run away from principles. If you're someone who is always looking for miracles, but don't want to practice principles, Jesus said you are a wicked person. Go and read your Bible. It's inside your Bible. You're a wicked person. People who are looking for miracles, feeding the 5,000. You know, remember, after Jesus fed the 5,000 the other day, 70 people followed him. And when they followed him and they ran after him, Master, we want to follow you. Jesus said, you want to follow me? Why do you want to follow me? But time will not permit us to go into that story. Jesus said, why do you want to follow me? You know, he said, if you are going to follow me, these are the price you must pay. They ran away, all of them. The 70 ran away. They ran away. They ran away because they could not be consistent. All right. In 3 years, you become a national phenomenon. In 5 to 7 years, you will become a global phenomenon. Listen, I am sharing this thing with you, and I am not painting myself as someone who has been an expert in my domain for years. I shared with you my story. That's why I began with my story, so that you can relate, so that you know it's not too late for you. You can do it too. I started December 2016, please, 4 years ago. This formula works. Remember, 2018 was when I gained my first speaking gig, first paid gig. And I shared with, and if I tell you, since that 2018 January is like my life has blown up. In fact, this speaking is threatening my full-time job. Oh my God, I need to stop here because I want to take some questions, and I think we should stop here. Please, Miss Ayo and Sister Kevin, please come back. Let's see whether we can take some questions. I have to go in 6 minutes. Amen. Glory to God. This has been an awesome session. Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Great. My mic is. I had to lose track. That was fire. That was. MOB is saying tables are breaking now. See, if you gained value, I want to see the fire emoji in the comments. If you're following us, I want to see the fire emoji in the comments. I want to see you drop the comments, in that chat box right now. If you're learning anything, if you've learned anything in the course of this few minutes, I know the time will not permit us, and to have gone farther, to have gone deeper and dug deeper into this well. We could have done quite a whole lot more. And you're sharing something this evening that I was sharing it early this morning with some people. It takes time, before you can get to a space of expertise and relevance.
Yes, sir.
It takes time.
Please preach
it takes time. It takes time.
Louder for the people at the back.
I started something called Leap, and I talk to younger people because of that. It's a free platform, at least for now. And the reason was because I believe you were talking about microwave mentality. A lot of people just believe, and I love the breakdown you've just given us. It's been an awesome time. If anybody's, I'm looking at the comments right now, and I want to see more comments getting dropped in there. That was fire. That was fire, literally fire. You just got down the roof, and I'm sure that we will bring you back. See, if anybody has any questions, I would really want us to take one or two if possible, because I know that you need to run.
Yes,
again.
Let's take some questions.
If anybody has a lot, fire. Yes, I love that. I can see that now. Yes, now you're speaking my language. Yeah, all the claps. Yeah, I can see that. That's all the love. Yeah, good. If anybody has any question, quickly drop it. We do not have any time to waste at all. Time is of essence. Experts understand the value of time. So if you have any questions, drop it right away, and let us take that before we round up. We just have a few more minutes to have Mr. Dr. Ekundayo, in the house this evening. So if anybody has any questions, drop it right away so that we can answer that. You want to be a speaker, you want to be known, you want to build relevance, you want to gain expertise. This is the time to learn. We are all learning. We are live, learners. We're hungry learners. We are knowledge warriors.
Like
hungry learners. We are knowledge warriors. Honestly. So if anybody has any question, I want to see that in the comment box very quickly so that we can take that, and Dr. Ekundayo can help us answer and do justice to that right away. Everybody, all I can see is just comment. I think you finished all this stuff. You finished this topic, in the last few minutes. Kemi, do you have anything to say very quickly?
Wow, this was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, you brought out the roof as always, and I don't expect anything less. But this was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for, beyond motivation, inspiring people. And I love the dimension in which you came from. And when people see people at certain level of success and life, they think they just jumped into that place, not knowing that there's a process to growth. There's a journey. Absolutely, and that it takes you unlocking one level to get into the next. So patience, guys, but then patience doesn't mean that you fold your arms waiting. Get to it.
I like what you said earlier when you said, dump dump value on people. Keep dumping the value. Keep dumping the value. So don't just wait. Keep dumping the value. Keep getting involved. Keep getting engaged. And I think that's the word for tonight. This has been an awesome time. I don't know whether anybody has any question because I've not seen. Okay, yes, there's a question. Right. Please take that.
Somebody said, does this principle apply only to speaking? The answer to that question is no. It applies everywhere. Even though I was speaking directly to speakers, because this is Speakers HQ, and the vision of this organization is to grow speakers and help speakers achieve relevance. That's why I was mentioning speakers. But you can literally apply these principles to every domain. Every domain. Yeah. Somebody's
Absolutely.
Question, how should one
address non-believers, negative people who want to knock you down? Okay.
Continue to dump value. The answer is very simple. Continue to dump value. Lightness in Glow continue to don't ever quit. Don't see. There are destructive criticisms and there are constructive criticisms. Okay, people will give you destructive criticisms. Don't mind. Have you ever seen an athlete running and people are screaming and calling him names and he stopped to actually address them? No, we don't stop to address those people. We move on. We keep running. And then, if there is a constructive criticism, right? People are, giving you some great tips on how you can improve on something like that. Yes, listen to that, but don't let that affect you in a way that you are now, you're giving up on your message. You're not able to add value. You're depressed. You're sad. You're down. No, don't let that affect you. Make sure that you continue to deliver your message. And that's my advice for that. So keep dumping value on people. Awesome.
All right. I think you've already done a lot of, you've done all the justice you can to this topic. And I was just going to say, the topic was digital positioning for global relevance. And I'll quickly say that you mentioned a number of things. You mentioned the use of social media, which has helped you on your journey. And you also talked about personal branding, So if anybody is, if you missed anything, like I said, go back and start from the beginning so that you can catch up on all that he has shared this evening in this part of the world, Thank you very much again, Dr. Ekundayo, for coming on this show. We really have had a great time. Thank you very much. And what is the role of mentors someone asked a very quick question. Okay, I'm not sure we'll be able to take that because it's just a minute to go.
My coaching client is waiting.
Exactly, it's just a minute to go. So
we will have another session. This was just a hangout. This was just one hangout. All right, so we'll do a real conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Okay, fantastic. So it has absolutely been a phenomenal experience. So, what do you say? It has been a phenomenal experience.
It's been amazing. It's been really amazing. That was awesome. That was
absolutely. Is that insights are useless without action. So it doesn't matter what you have had today. If you do not put it into action, if you're not taking this insight and running with them right now, then you have just attended the biggest party in 2020. Get all those insights and start running with them right away. Wow. And don't go anywhere yet because we have another session coming right now. Guys, you are in for a phenomenal time today. You are in for a phenomenal time today. Hello, guys. So we have, I'm sure you've had an amazing time in the first segment that we have just concluded. Get your notepads, get your pens, because we are going right in for another phenomenal session. Guys, you do not know what is coming to you at all. You are in for a phenomenal time. So if you need to grab a drink, you need to get some water, do that right away, because our next speaker is already in the house. Ayo, take it up, please.
All right. Wow, it's been an awesome evening. The next speaker, very quickly, some of you may know his firm, but I'm not very sure that you may not know his person. So I'm sure tonight we're just about to introduce you to the person of Mr. Adetayo Bamiduro. He's the co-founder of Max NG. Metro Africa Express, a Nigerian-based mobility platform that connects users to vetted professional motorcycle taxi drivers via a mobile app. Tayo is a dynamic tech expert who understands global markets and strategic business positioning, leveraging technology. Again, we will be talking about digital positioning, for global relevance. That is what we're talking about again. And we've brought another person who in this space now is a business person who understands the business space, understands the tech space, understands exactly what digital positioning means. And then he also understands global relevance means. So how have you been able to marry that? Now he's bringing him to come and share with us from his own, a repertoire of knowledge, his own, and I'm sure that it's going to be another awesome time. He's not a preacher, he's a businessman. So we want to make sure that things are pretty much balanced up so that we can have, knowledge, get knowledge and gain knowledge from both sides of the coin. So if you're ready and waiting for him to get on board, I want to start seeing that in the comments. So if you've heard of Max NG before, you've heard of Max NG before in Lagos, they're now in Ibadan, they're in a couple of other spaces, and they're doing quite a lot of amazing things on that platform. So we're glad to have him on the show this evening. Mr. Adetayo Bamiduro will be live as soon as possible. He's trying to connect right now, and I think we have a little bit of a hitch, but within the next few seconds, I'm sure we will have him on live and direct right now. So if you're waiting, if you've learned anything again in the last session, please, you could drop it for those who are coming late, for the back benches, for the latecomers, so that they can see some of the new comments here on the platform as well. So I think we're struggling a little bit to bring him on board, but I'm sure that very soon we're going to have him. Anything coming?
All right. Yeah. So I think while we're getting Tayo back, he's been on the call, but I guess we have some technical issues. From the last session, we have a couple of questions that unfortunately Mr. Dr. Ekundayo couldn't take. So I think we tried to look at those questions while we wait for our next speaker. So he's in already, but we just have to be able to connect to his stream. So the first question I see here is, what is the role of mentors in the place of giving value? Right? What's the role of mentors in the place of giving value? So I'll answer that question, and if I pretty much understand what the person who asked this question means, you want to know if mentors directly play some kind of role in giving value. But then when we talk about value, right, we're talking about value from the place of self. So before you go on to talking about what your mentors can give you, what can you give your mentor? A lot of times when people seek mentorship relationship, it comes from the place of what can they get from the mentor. But then, like Dr. Samuel Ekundayo has said, is about value. You have to be able to give value to people. The value that you want to receive, you also have to be able to give. So before you start looking for a mentor who is just going to pour value, on for you, one of the key things that you should have taken away from the session this morning is that dump value. So yes, we're going to take that. We've taken that now. I think all the other questions we will take later. We have our speaker live, in the stream already. Connection is great, and we cannot wait to have him on board. Hello, Tayo.
Finally, we can have him. Good evening.
Sorry.
Good to have you finally with us. Guys. You didn't want to show us your beautiful face before, I guess.
I wish. Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, connectivity problems here and there, but hopefully the connection would stay.
Yes, I think you and I are having the same connection problem. Thank you so much for coming. We have had an awesome first part to this e-hangout. Talking about global digital positioning for global relevance. It's been an amazing. Dr. Sam Ekundayo was off the chains, like they say, and we are waiting for you to also blow us out at this time. So thank you so much, Tayo, for joining us. Like you saw on the screen right there, we had the amazing Kemi Ogunkoya, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Speakers HQ and a co-founder. And we also had Ayo Alex Alao, who was the host at the initial session. He is the fantastic man, is a co-founder and as well the Chief Strategy Officer of Speakers HQ. And so everyone, welcome. And my name is Somi Adebumi for everyone listening, because we have people joining us on Facebook and YouTube at the moment. I'm the Chief Business Officer and co-founder of Speakers HQ. And we have the amazing Adetayo Bamiduro, the Chief Executive Officer of Max NG. Max NG, they have their tentacles all over Nigeria and African nations, and they're looking to go even further global right now. Thank you so much, Tayo, for joining us. I would like Ayo and Kemi to still join us on this stage. So while we crack you in, so that because we know people are waiting to hear from you. So that's a beautiful Kemi Ogunkoya right there. So Kemi, that's Tayo.
Hi Tayo, thank you for joining us.
Right, and I don't think Ayo is here. To everyone that's joining us, hi. Like I said the other time, Adetayo Bamiduro is a co-founder of Africa Xpress, a Nigerian-based mobility platform that connects users to vetted professional motorcycle taxi drivers via a mobile app. Tayo is a dynamic tech expert who understands global markets and strategic business positioning, leveraging technology. So who better to have as our guest today as we talk about digital positioning for global relevance. So Tayo, over to you.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks. Amazing job you guys are doing. Sami, Kemi, Ayo, and of course, I know you guys have been having a blast for the last 1 hour at least. So hopefully, I can add a few thoughts that can hopefully, impact our amazing listeners and position them for next level success in whatever it is that they're doing. So positioning ourselves for global relevance is it's the internet has become a leveler today, right? Access to apps, access to mobile platforms, wherever you are, right in your dorm from any corner of the world, you can connect to anybody you want to, right? And you can build any solution. Or you can build something from your hometown in Osun State, right? And have a customer somewhere in Alaska, right? So all the previous barriers that existed before are, the last couple of decades, they've all been taken out by technology and by the internet, right? And that is extremely powerful. So, but, looking at what's happened in the last few months, 2020 has been quite an incredible year. Unfortunately, a lot of negatives. The pandemic hit a few months back, completely transformed and changed, the business climate, economies shutting down virtually all around the world. all kinds of businesses, not being able to take in customers, not being able to open their doors, and everyone's asking, what next, what do we do, right? And there's that feeling of the unknown. We don't know what's coming next. We don't know what businesses would succeed going forward. We're not sure and clear what business models make sense right now. We don't even know what industries might be best positioned to grow and scale in the coming months. So there's a lot of uncertainty out there. But I think there's a few pieces of information, insights, and strategies that we can piece together here and there that can help increase the chances of success, for all of us, right? And so some of those ideas we'll be talking about today, right? So I think looking at what is here to stay, what is clearly here to stay, of course, is internet, is technology, is mobile platforms, is mobile apps, right? But a lot of traditional industries, even if they would stay, right, the way things are done would likely shift and would likely change significantly. So let's pick one, for example. Let's say you are into retail. Let's say you have a store. You sell stuff. You sell Brazilian hair, right? Maybe the channels you've used historically have been selling through your store somewhere physically, right? The reality is, because stores have been closed, do people still need Brazilian hair, for example? Of course, people still do, right? But what channels can you then use, to take your business to the next level? And then we start talking about online platforms. Okay, so you might have an Instagram account and you have a lot of people placing orders, but is that enough, right? Probably not. You have to build your own digital store as well, from where people can go, place an order and pay right away, right? Instead of having to send an account number via, WhatsApp or SMS or whatever it is, you can then build your own customized online digital store, right? With logistics fully integrated, and people can just go there, they can shop, they can create their own accounts, you can send them targeted campaigns in the future, you can provide a bit more customized and personalized service based off of the data that you have on them, right? So this is the time definitely to start thinking about how to leverage digital channels, to scale our businesses and to launch new ideas, right? You might be into food as well. Maybe you're a great chef, right? You cook fantastic meals, but because of the pandemic and some of the changes that are happening, maybe you can't open, or maybe not as many people are walking through your doors to come and buy food anymore, right? So what do? You also add food delivery, right? You add delivery capabilities to your business, right? You go online or you list on digital platforms or digital marketplaces that allow folks like you to get on board, leverage Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media channels, but also create your own customized digital store as well, right? And figure out a way to, enable people to still access the amazing, food that you cook, right? Without them necessarily having to come physically to the place where you stay. There are also dynamics around, physical locations now. Maybe you have a team of 10 people, you run a small gig or a small company. Maybe, 5-6 months ago, you would be looking for, to rent a full office for your entire team. But now, people have to work from home, right? So how do you learn to build a much more decentralized team and keep them motivated? How do you leverage tools like, Zoom, Slack, and so on to optimize collaboration, right? And allow people to be able to work from home, because that's an idea that has existed for quite a while now. But a lot of people have just been afraid, okay, will people actually work if they're at home? How do we monitor people? How do we make sure they're doing the work that they need to do? But I think one fantastic thing that's coming out of this crisis is also the fact that what really matters at the end of the day for your team members, for your people, even for you as an individual, is results, right? So it doesn't matter if you're monitoring people 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day. The question is, this is what you're supposed to deliver, A, B, C, D. At the end of the day, you check in with the team. Have they delivered on A, B, C, D? If they haven't, then they haven't done anything for that day, no matter how busy they are. And I think that's one thing that physical offices have done historically, where we kind of feel like we're productive just because we jumped into traffic early in the morning, wearing some pretty nice suits, right? And you go there, you're there for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and then you get back into traffic to get back home, right? And then that gives you a false sense of maybe you've been productive. But now that you have to work from home, you're not going through traffic and not doing that stuff, right? So what people are then going to use to measure our performance is results, right? So I think despite the challenges that we've all, that the pandemic has brought, there are also opportunities where, we're starting to go back to the basics, right? What really matters at the end of the day. What matters is not that I wear a fantastic suit to work, right? Doesn't matter. What matters is not that I went through 2 hours of of crazy traffic to get to work, right? What matters is not the office politics that we've all played for like the last 10, 15, 20 years, right? Because if nobody's in the office, then there's no politics to be played. So now we're getting back to the basics of productivity and of results. And I think the opportunity is being presented to people who really deliver results, right? Not people who can do all the nice stuff, but that doesn't ultimately, lead to productivity for ourselves, our customers, our shareholders, and all the other amazing people that we work with. So I think it's a time to leverage technology more than ever before, to be productive, to drive results, to be highly collaborative, and to also cut unnecessary costs, right, that many of us have been incurring over the last couple of years, but that didn't necessarily contribute, anything to the bottom line. So I'll pause there, and I'll maybe take any questions or any thoughts or feedback at this point.
Yeah, so let's see if we can get some questions in for him. I think I like that. At least having getting it to be a bit interactive as possible as we go on. Right. So if there are questions, kindly let's pull them through, and we're all gonna see them on the screens. Anyways, as we are going. But before those questions come in, I think one of the things I love from what you said. Leveraging and optimizing collaboration. I think now more than ever, it is so important. This collaboration, and not just collaboration, but optimizing collaboration is really. And I mean, when you think about it, isn't optimizing your collaboration also hand in hand with leveraging? Because you have to leverage your network to be able to collaborate with them or collaborate with the other people. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, 100%, absolutely. One of the fantastic things, I think, one of the challenges that we've talked about so much in Nigeria, and many African countries over the last few years, is the challenge of brain drain, right? We're losing a lot of people to Canada, to UK, to the US, and so on and so forth, right? But the amazing thing about a world that's gone fully digital, where you can collaborate remotely, and as you said, you can leverage all these powerful, collaboration tools that are available to, for you to build teams across borders, across national borders, and all of that, right? Is the fact that you can also access talent from anywhere, right? So all your friends and the experts and the amazing people that you used to know, or that have some really powerful skills, but have moved to some other locations, right? Nothing stops you from reconnecting with those people and bringing their skills back into your business, right? So right now the bottom line is that there are no more barriers. There are no barriers. There's no excuse, right? Whatever you need, whatever resources you need, you can access them from anywhere, right? There are very powerful collaboration tools, right? Video conferencing tools like Zoom, chat platforms, for corporate environments like Slack. There are free accounts for Slack, for example. You can create accounts for every member of your team. You can share documents on the fly. You can even do integrations with your email as well. You've also got G Suite, right? Back in the day when, to set up an email address for your company, you had to go and first register a domain and do all that crazy stuff. But now on G Suite, right, for not so much money, you can set up your own domain, set up your own account, set up your own sharing, your own folders, digital online folders as well for arranging, your company documents, right, and making it easy for people to navigate around. So the tools are there. You can access talent and skill sets from anywhere, right, and there are no more barriers. But I think there's a question right now.
Yes, I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to break you. I didn't want to break you when you were talking. Yeah. So I think Gladys, thank you for joining us. Gladys says, great opening. How does one leverage on the new norm for restaurants and kitchens? And she also had a follow-up questions, which was, do I need to develop apps to optimize my micro? Okay, thank you. Yeah, it has been brought up. Do I need to develop apps to optimize my micro restaurant business? So I think you could just take both together.
Fantastic. So let me start with the second question. Do you need to develop apps, right? No, you don't. You don't need to develop apps. You're not in the business of developing apps, right? There's so many existing powerful channels that you can leverage, right? So as we all know, they're the common ones, the no-brainer ones, like setting up a WhatsApp business account, right, and blasting daily messages to everyone in your contact list, right, and just telling them about the amazing stuff you're doing, the new recipes you've developed, right? The new meals you've come up with, the feedback you have from customers about how great your meals are. You can, leverage WhatsApp business accounts to do that, right? There's also, of course, creating a really strong and engaging Instagram account, right? So a lot of people think Instagram is just about setting up an account and just, posting pictures. It's a lot more than that, right? It's about providing content that is engaging and that is relevant for your audience, right? Now, you may not have all of those skills personally, but there are people that provide those services that you should absolutely engage. That can give you ideas, give you insights, and also help you, right, tell your story out there using powerful visuals and using very powerful stories as well. So do you need to build an app? No. You run a restaurant business, you have a kitchen. How do you engage, right? Take fantastic pictures of your food, put it on all, as many digital media channels as possible. And also, list on other platforms as well. So there are shared platforms like, for example, like Jumia Foods, right? There's nothing that stops you from setting up, an account on Jumia Foods and allowing people to be able to order food from your, restaurant via the Jumia Foods app. They've already done all the hard work, right? They've done all the hard work of marketing, of driving downloads, right? And having a lot of users on their mobile app. If you go and build your own mobile app as well, you're going to have to figure out all that stuff. And that stuff costs a lot of money, I assure you, right? Building an app costs money. Driving traffic towards your app and getting people to download your app costs a lot of money as well. So you don't want to do things that are too expensive, right? There are simple digital channels and digital platforms that can simply just go there. You don't have to learn too much about how to use them and about how to deploy. You can continue to focus on your core competence, which is cook fantastic, great food. That's what you know how to do. Focus on that, but leverage these digital channels as distribution channels, right? And that's the way to think about it. So there's nothing complicated about leveraging technology for scaling your business, right? You have to, of course, do your own homework. You have to find the right, consultants to provide support, whether they are graphic designers or whether they are, web platform developers, in case maybe you want to build out your own website, talk about your own journey and your story, and make your menu available to the whole world. Whether you want to list on food platforms like Jumia Foods and the rest of them, or whether if you have the time and the expertise, maybe you want to build your own app as well. But of course, my guess is most restaurant owners will not have to end up building their own app, right? Most people won't have to do that. Or also leveraging your WhatsApp business account, setting up your WhatsApp business account and using that to drive distribution for yourself. I think the key thing is distribution. Like what channels or what digital channels are there that you can maximize to reach all your customers, wherever they might be, right? That is the key question you should think about. So it's not about using technology for the sake of technology. If you look at some of the most successful technology entrepreneurs in the world today, of course, like people like Jeff Bezos, right? Jeff from the very first day was focused on, low prices, right? Very fast delivery as well. So super fast delivery, low prices or very, very, very affordable prices, right? And just generally great customer experience. And they focused on that relentlessly for the last, 20 plus years, and they've done amazingly well. So any company can be super, super successful. But the thing is, you have to understand what you do very well. Focus on what you do well. Bring in expertise in the areas that you don't necessarily understand or know very well, but you need, right? So bring in that expertise. You don't even have to bring them in full time as well. You can bring in consultants that work with you for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Before the engagement, you have very clear documented deliverables. So they're going to come in and do A, B, C, D, E, F, G for me, for my company, and I'm going to pay you X, Y, Z for delivering A, B, C, D, E. So it's very clear what they're delivering for you. It's clear, how much you're going to pay them for that and the value you're going to get from that. And then, they can provide all the support and the help that you need to get your business out there. But if you run a restaurant business or a kitchen business, right, you have to leverage digital businesses. You have to get, delivery service providers and delivery companies as well to provide you logistics support to get your meals on time to your customers. I think we've got another question from Zaki.
From Zaki. Absolutely.
Season.
Yeah.
How can one set up a tutorial class for students in this period?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic.
It must be in the education sector.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Since considering the social distancing rules, right? That's a tough one. I think maybe not even looking at just the pandemic, but let's start from looking at maybe the challenges that the pandemic has brought in. You referenced the problem of, the limitation of, that comes about due to social distancing rules that have been put in place by the federal government and by a lot of state governments as well. So there are a couple of options, right? You can't set up a physical tutorial class. Let's assume you can't do that. So what do you do, right? You have only one other channel as well. You go digital, right? You leverage digital channels. Just the same way we're having a conversation right now, we are reaching so many people from all across the globe. You can also set up your own digital tutorial classes as well, right? And begin to engage people online and say, okay, this is what I do. These are the services that I provide. My classes would run from X to, from this time to this time on a daily basis. You set up your own Zoom account or whatever it is. And then, you start putting the word out through your own immediate networks, and you ask your own people in your own networks to also retweet you or to repost and stuff like that. And then before you know it, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, students that sign up. And once they have a great experience, of course, make sure you have solid internet connection, right? If you're doing digital tutorial classes, you better have solid digital connection, right? But also make sure you're properly organized. You've got the curriculum developed properly. You've got, all the exercises, are very well documented, right? But I think one thing that I think is important is this. When you're delivering content online, right? Anybody can, do research and figure out, what needs to be in the physics 101 class. Anybody can do research and put together a class or a course, right? So then the question is, what is the difference maker? What is the difference maker? What sets you apart? Right, that's the key question as an online tutor, for example. And what sets you apart, right, is the level of engagement that you're able to deliver via digital channels. Because once people come into your Zoom class or whatever it is, that platform you use to deliver those classes online, right? The differentiating factor for you then is the quality of the experience that they have, right? How engaged are you, right? How energetic are you, right? How much attention do you pay to their needs, right? How are you able to bridge that physical divide to deliver an experience that is as powerful as if they were actually in the same physical room with you? So the energy needs to come out, right? The passion, the drive needs to be felt, digitally by your students. And that is what will actually distinguish you, right? So I think on the one hand, it's absolutely important to leverage digital channels, right, to be able to connect with people and continue to do your business. But that in itself does not mean that you shouldn't still deliver or the same levels of excellence, right, or the same levels of mastery that you should have in your area, right? You have to be a master at what you do, right? But at the same time, you have to leverage digital channels to be able to engage with an audience remotely. Sorry, I just lost power for a little bit. It'll be restored any moment from now. But
that's
that
fine.
pretty much answers.
We're in Nigeria.
All right.
Yeah.
Hooray, it's back. Yeah. So I think we've got another question from.
Yes, we got from Paquins Irabo. It's so good to have you here, Mr. Paquins Irabo. Fantastic man, actually, fantastic man. So he says, if you must develop your own company web or mobile app, will you advise to hire software developers or outsource to a software company? I think you should take this for both the company web and mobile. I don't want you to jam it together for this reason, because you have quite a number of SMEs, whose main concern is actually company web. And I know a number might be thinking, do I hire or do I outsource? So please, because I know you might want to put company web and mobile app together. Many people that are probably joining are actually thinking more of the web than mobile app. But Tayo, can they do justice to the question?
Sure, absolutely. So a web platform and a mobile app are definitely, of course, very, very different, right? And absolutely. People, tend to specialize and have expertise in different things. So a company that does fantastic web pages may not necessarily be a great company that can provide, mobile app development services to you. So you are absolutely spot on with that point, Sami. Now, I think a lot of what people don't do well and leads to pain and money spent but no value created is when people don't do enough due diligence, right? So if you're going to hire a company or hire a software developer, and I'll say, whether it's a company, whether it's a software developer, to be honest, it's almost not as relevant as what is their track record, right? So if you're hiring a company, to do a web platform for you or a website for you, the best indicator of success, right, is what have they done before? Who else have they done this for? Right? Ask them for 5 references, right? Go and check out the 5 companies they built websites for. If you like those 5 websites, then you can go ahead, right? Same with the mobile app as well. What have they done before? What apps have they built? Tell them to point you to 5 apps they've built, right? Go download those apps. Look through those apps, right? And then ask yourself, right? Is this, is this what I would love to have, right? The person that built this, do I think this person is good enough to build what I want, right? And don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
So I think, a lot of times people, maybe because of budget, they want to go look for the cheapest, right? And I mean, we all want the cheapest. Who doesn't want the cheapest, right? You want, everybody wants a Ferrari for the price, right, of a Toyota Corolla, right? Everybody wants a Ferrari for the Toyota Corolla. So we are all the same in that area. But the reality is, so that you avoid headaches, right, and pain, and disappointment, the best predictor of success is go check what they've done before. If you like it, go for it.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for that. But I want you to touch on you have answered quite well in terms of doing due diligence, but in terms of recurrent expenditure, in terms of overhead, all right? Okay. Do you think it's advisable to hire a staff, to hire a developer, or to just outsource to a software company?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, fantastic question as well. So I'd say, as they say, it always depends. If you are technically gifted or technically sound, right, and you understand engineering, even if you're not a software developer, but someone needs to be done, you understand product management, you can do quality checks on the work they're doing in some way, right? Then you can hire a developer, right, to work for you full time. If you're not a technical, expert, don't do it, right? Don't do it. Absolutely not.
Right.
And the simple reason why you shouldn't do it is that you can't check their work. I mean, think about it. How can you say you are overseeing an employee and you don't understand what they do, right? So
exactly.
How are you going to be sure?
How do you appraise? Yes.
How do you appraise?
When it comes to yeah.
How do you hold them accountable? They'll open up a TV, their monitor in front of you, and you can't even tell what it is they're doing, but they probably.
I think the network there, I think the network coverage from Tayo's side is a bit poor at the moment. But yeah, what it was answering there is rather apt, really. If you do not know if you don't have the expertise, if you don't understand what you're doing, how do you then oversee them? How do you have an oversight function over them? Gladys, yes, thank you. I can see your question when Tayo gets back. We'll be able to put out. Oh, yes, Tayo is back. Yes, we probably need digital positioning for internet service in Ibadan for global relevance. So please, can you round up on that question before we take Gladys' question, because you were giving some salient points, but the network was a bit shady.
Yes, my apologies for that. So should you hire a software developer, right? If you have what it takes, it doesn't have to be you, maybe your co-founder or your tight business partner, right?
Yes.
Or someone who you really trust has the technical ability to be able to evaluate the quality of their work. Then fine, you can hire an engineer or a software developer in-house. But if not, right, then it's better outsourcing it completely to a company where you pay them to deliver X, Y, Z results.
Right. So in essence, it's not even about whether your company is self-sustainable enough to be able to absorb the financial implications of actually having a staff. It's down to your own expertise or the expertise of those within your team. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I wish we could actually get the Gladys question from her husband. Yes. So Gladys says, my husband is asking, what app or online platform do you recommend for enterprise trainings that is within a large company of 3,000 employees. He's a training manager and he loves your presentation. First of all, Speakers HQ is one where we and you can see me also afterwards. And Kemi Ogunkoya also. Gladys, tell your husband to see us. But Tayo, you can still answer the question, Sha. Refer us, okay, Tayo?
Oh, 100%. I mean, so what online platforms do I recommend for enterprise trainings, right? Large company, 3K plus employees. If it was, if you needed, an online platform for maybe a company of maybe 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 employees, right? There are a bunch of online platforms out there that can easily adopt, right? I don't have all of them off the top of my head. But if you're looking at a large, an implementation for a large company, what you need is more than a software. You need a consultant, right? And, as Sami said, that he's right in front of you. Just send him a message, send Kemi a message as well. And they will help you. So it's more than just the platform. It's more than just the platform. It's about the consultants who can help customize and identify the right solution for your company, right? So that would be my answer.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. But so that it doesn't look as if we are hoarding the whole stuff, if the number of employees are a bit lower because you have the likes of Microsoft Teams that you can at least accommodate about 100 or thereabout to 200. You probably just have to space them. But the platform is not the content. The content, like Tayo said, get us. Okay, thank you so much, Gladys. And regards to your husband, see, we are already pitching. Regards to your husband, please. Okay. So let's see. Any more questions? I don't know if Kemi and Ayo also would like to pose some questions to Tayo before we get some other questions from people because we should be we have about 15 or so minutes to go because we're supposed to run up by 8:45. So Kemi, over to you, please.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Tayo, for such a phenomenal and insightful one. So my question is around this really because I know that at Max, for example, you leverage, collaboration, right? You're able to optimize collaboration, and that's why you have, the sustainable structure that you have. So I'm asking this question because I know that it would be beneficial to people on this call, because I know also that in this part of the world, people are kind of really skeptical when it comes to business collaboration, right? And there's no way we're talking about digital relevance in a vacuum. Okay, so for those who are into businesses and really want to collaborate to move their businesses to the next level, because, for example, Speakers HQ was born out of great collaboration and partnership, right? And we were able to harness our unique gifts and our unique talents and bring all our expertise and tools, to the table to make this happen. So how do people overcome the bias or negative beliefs around collaboration, and how are they able to really optimize collaboration in today's world to achieve greater business success?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a really, really critical point, right, that you just made, Kemi. And it's, sadly, right. I think I was talking to a mentor earlier today, and one of the points he brought out was, the reason why our country and our continent, is at this point, right, today, is because of our failure to collaborate as people, as tribes, as ethnicities, right, and all of that. So whenever there's failure, to collaborate, there's always, underachievement. You can't help it, right? In order to unlock the full potential of a people, of a system, of a company, right, you need partnership. Like, partnership is super, super, super critical. There's a Chinese proverb, it says if you want to go fast, right, you go alone, right? But if you want to go far, right, you go as a team. So collaboration is super. And one of the reasons why collaboration is so important is people are good at different things, right? People are good at different things. We all have different skill sets. We all have different capabilities, right? Or if you look at a car, right, ask someone, okay, what's the most important part of the car, right? They might say, oh, it's the brain box. Oh, it's the engine. Oh, well, doesn't matter, right? If you have a fantastic engine without 4 tires, you ain't going nowhere, right?
Or the batteries.
If you have or the battery, right? You can have a perfect car, everything's perfect, but there's no battery in that car, right? That car isn't going anywhere, right? That is a very simple picture of why collaboration is so critical, right? Because you need all the pieces of the puzzle together to achieve results. If you've gone alone so far in life, if you've gone alone historically and you've still managed to achieve maybe some success, congratulations, I'm excited for you, right? But I'm also sad for you because if by going alone you've achieved, 50, you've achieved 50. If you went with a team and collaborated with people, guess what? You would have achieved 50,000. Right? You would have achieved 50,000. That's 1,000 times more. So when you collaborate, when you bring people on board, when you unlock the expertise that's domiciled in other people around you to advance the collective good and collective objective, then everybody achieves more. Now, let me explain. Maybe I also want to put a caveat in there. What is not collaboration? Collaboration is not using other people. That is not collaboration.
Thank you. That's true. That's true.
Collaboration is not using other people, right? Collaboration is the three of us come together to advance our collective objective and our collective good. So in order for us to also successfully collaborate, that means that there are shared objectives, right? There are shared values, right? We all together want to achieve something that is important to all of us. So we come together, join forces, and then together we achieve more, and everybody benefits. Everyone is a winner, and that is true collaboration, right? So those would be my few cents on the subject.
All right, thank you very much, Ayo. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure our viewers have been able to take something from that because, just like you said, if you want to go further, you go as a team, right? And I sincerely do hope that people understand that and also get to that point of understanding what real collaboration is all about. Some people get into collaboration as a result of, okay, I have a friend, without necessarily looking at the value that they get to bring to the table, right? So I think it's important that people start thinking of creating global businesses, but also understand the dynamics of running and managing global businesses too. So thank you very much for that, Tayo.
Sure, you're welcome, Kim. Anytime. Thanks for the opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Quick. I was going to ask something around advertising. I know a lot of small businesses and medium-sized businesses struggle when it comes to advertising. So for you, how have you been able to navigate that space? When they say a small business, I may need to have XYZ amount of money before I start because I know that to get into the market, I would need to spend quite a lot. So how would you, from your own experience, what have you been able to, what can you share with us with regards to, advertising your brand, advertising your business and putting yourself out there? How did a lot of people get to know you? What techniques and tools and tips can you share with us this evening?
Well. I mean, advertising is such a hot button topic, right? Advertising is one of those things where you can spend so much money and you don't see any results, right? And then you can look over the fence and you see your neighbor who's spending 10% of your budget and they're known everywhere, and you're wondering, what's going on here? Is there some trick to this? Is there some secret to this? And really there is, right? I personally might not, be, I don't consider myself an ad expert, right? But I know what I want. I know what I want for the brand. I know what I want for the company, right? And once we start achieving it, I can see it. So now today, advertising has been completely, transformed, right? Over the last 20 years, first it was Google, and then there's all kinds of platforms out there now, right? And Google, at some point, I think I remember doing a business school case, right? A few years back. And at that point in time, I think Google had swallowed up about 85% of the total budget of the total size of the advertising industry. I'm like, that is just crazy. It's insane, right?
Sure.
So So advertising has really changed, right? And the question is, from at the very fundamental and basic level, what is advertising, right? Is you want to get noticed, you want people to know you, want people to, you want to build a brand, right? You want people to recognize you and associate you with something good, something with trust, with reliability in a particular area. You want to be in people's faces. So the question is, how do you get yourself in people's faces, right? And today there are so many channels, right? If you group them into two channels, there's digital channels and there's offline channels, right? Now, if you look at offline channels today, there's print, right? There's print media, there's physical print media, there's radio, there's TV, there's billboards, there's flyers, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on, right? So that's all of those I would group under the offline channels. Now, there's also digital channels, right? And there's so many different ways to talk about these digital channels. There's the social media platforms, right?
Sure.
There's keywords and search, right? Are thinking about keywords and optimizing, your brand for visibility on search engines, right?
SEO, yeah.
And there's a bunch of others that I can't even think of right now. There's also YouTube and video ads right now, which have become really, really powerful as well. There's display ads. There's all sorts, right? So now let's pick those two together. It depends on what you do and what your target market is. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss out on. Everybody says, "Oh, let's go online." Question is, the people that you're trying to reach, where are they? What are they looking at? Right? So if a lot of your customers that you're trying to target are kind of like maybe ages, I don't know, maybe 15 to 19, right? And they all have smartphones and they are all on Facebook. So yeah, go on Facebook, right?
Exactly.
But if the people you're looking for, maybe you're selling a luxury good, and the people that can afford that particular luxury good are maybe like age 50 to 60, right? And you go on Facebook. I'm not sure, right? In Nigeria, I'm not so sure. Maybe it might work, but I'm not so sure, right? So where do you find people in the ages 50 to 60? They're reading Punch, they're reading The Guardian, they're reading those newspapers. So that's where you want to be if you probably want to get to those people, right? So I mean, the channels you leverage, and this includes both digital and offline, and getting the faces of your customers. You have to you have to take your time to really understand your customer persona, which is kind of like big language for, just English for who really is your customer, right? And where are they? Where do you find them, right? Are they watching channels, are they watching channels TV, right? Are they watching CNN? Or are they watching, NTA, right? Because it's still have a bunch of people watching NTA, right?
NTA,
So I think the key thing is you want to understand the customer persona. Who are they? Where do they congregate? Where do they gather? And then you go find them there.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say you go find them like the way an assassin tracks their target, but I think that's a bit too violent. Let me use another example.
Yes. Even though you still said it, but it's all right. That's fantastic, and I believe that was an amazing question actually from Ayo. Right there, because it's really important, because when you think about it, part of positioning yourself digitally for global relevance is also to digitally make yourself visible. You have to be visible. Visibility is key, and it's one of the key cornerstones of Speakers HQ, because one of the things that we hinge our culture on, visibility. For speakers, for business leaders, for thought leaders. I was still having a meeting with someone today. I think I had a discussion with you earlier on, Tayo. I was having a discussion with someone today, and I was still talking to them about Speakers HQ also. And the fact that visibility is one of the key things. It really got them really interested, because you see, to position yourself for relevance, not to even talk of global, you have to be visible. So now when you want to go global, you have to be digitally visible. So which is great. Tayo, it's been fantastic. I'm not sure we have more questions coming. I don't know. Kemi always asks questions, so I don't know if she still has a question to ask. But I went on our Facebook channel whilst Ayo was engaging you, and I think we have over, as of right now, over 6,000, almost 7,000 reach already, which means that this message has reached. But I'm sure before the end of the day, we'll be clocking over 10,000 already. We have a powerful, we have a strong community of over 60,000 followers on Facebook right now, and we are taking Speakers to be the largest online community for speakers, business leaders, thought leaders like yourself, tech enthusiasts, different set of people, and these are the kind of messages that we want them to have. It's been an amazing time. I believe Ayo and Kemi will share that notion with me. Thank you so very much, Tayo. Out of your very busy schedule,
not too busy for rock stars like you guys.
Thank you so very much. Because I know he had to travel somewhere and make this. In fact, I had to go be his eyes at the office while he was away also. So thank you so very much. God bless you and the work you are doing. Kemi and Ayo are fantastic friends and business partners of mine. Same thing is happening. Well, Tayo has been my childhood friend, a football partner for that matter. And
we could be making a lot of money right now if we went and joined Chelsea, right?
Like we told our parents recently, if we need to let us play football also. But this is also a platform that we are glad that we're also partnering right now. So thank you to everyone who signed up, all our followers on Speakers HQ Facebook group, and most importantly, our subscribers on Speakers HQ Network, Africa, for the matter, because yes, we're going global. So I don't know, before Tayo gives us his last words for today, Kemi, any words as we round up?
So I'm going to try not to ask a question right now.
I said so.
But it has absolutely been a phenomenal time, from the very first speaker, Dr. Samuel Ekundayo, who dropped it really, really, really hot. And, Tayo has also dropped some really hot technological bombs, right? I'm sure that everyone on this call, has practical and actionable strategies that they're going home with, or of course, a lot of them are home already, but they're going to bed with, and they're waking up tomorrow with actionable plan. Like I always say that insights are useless without action. So it doesn't matter how much you have soaked in today. If you do not put it into action, then you have just come to your biggest party in 2020. So get all those insights, into action and keep moving.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Ayo, the chief strategist.
I'm not very sure we have any more to add, really. I think it's been a phenomenal, fantastic evening. Like I said earlier, we've heard from almost two diverse sides of the coin. Someone who's it's a more technical person, and another person who's a little bit more inspirational or motivational. So the reality of it is, to be able to gain, significance, you need to be able to strike that balance in reality. So, and I think it's been phenomenal for everybody who's been on the call today, this evening. All the comments have been fantastic. And like I said earlier, make sure you try and follow us. I think I dropped that as a chat. Make sure you try and follow us for when next we will be having something this beautiful, this phenomenal on Speakers HQ Africa. All right. Thank you very much again, Tayo, for coming on the show. And thank you for sharing from your heart.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Ayo. Thank you so much, Kemi. Ayo was the host of the first session, which was great. Kemi has been the executive producer from the back. That's not surprising, being the chief executive officer right now. And like I said, Ayo, the chief strategy officer of Speakers. Ayo, we thank you so very much. And to everyone who is on this e-hangout right now, a number of you are not yet subscribed to the Speakers HQ network. So you go to www.speakershq.com. We are. I have to say this. We are absolutely blessed to have people of the caliber, or like they say, timber and caliber of Dr. Sam Ekundayo and Adetayo Bamiduro today for a program wherein we have kind of made this free, absolutely open. When I say free, I don't even mean monetary terms alone, but in terms of access, all right, to a number of people. But to gain more of these kind of things, you have to go sign on and subscribe to Speakers HQ at www.speakershq.com, because there are a number of things that Adetayo Bamiduro is still going to come, because from even personal conversations with him, he is very much happy partnering with Speakers HQ, even going forward on so many other things. So he's still going to be around some other time to speak with us. Dr. Sam Ekundayo, the same. We have a host of people lined up. If you are not on that network, you might not have access to SOC. Do you get me? So you need to be on that network. And I think it's only right for people who have come to share with us without demanding anything from us to also say that you can reach them on their media platforms. You can get Dr. Sam Ekundayo at Dr. Sam Ekundayo on Instagram. You can reach him there, and you can also get Adetayo Bamiduro at Bamtam. You can get them. See, what we are speaking about today is not for you to go disturb them as to what they can give you. It's for you to connect with them. All right, it's for you to collaborate with them. And I say this because we get Kemi Ayo. I'm sure Tayo himself can bear witness to what I'm saying, because that happens a lot. All right, it's an opportunity for you to connect and for future collaborations with them. You never know. Myself and Kemi met at a conference like this. It wasn't E, it was P. That is, it was physical. It was a physical meeting. And look at what we're doing today. Same thing with Ayo. All right, so you have a chance now to connect with them, to collaborate. Some of you are tech enthusiasts. Some of you are speakers, thought leaders, business leaders within the tech industry. You have someone like Ayo, someone like Tayo that you can connect with and see what you can grow and build together. All right, that's the whole idea. Once again, thank you, Tayo, of Max NG. They are a hail riding technology platform that you can find out about them. Dr. Sam, hey, what do we say about him? Like Ayo said, he's an inspirational, motivational, spiritual person, transformational. Even though he said he has his niche, but Tayo is not just a tech enthusiast. All right, he's someone who has also worked to a finance person. All right, he's a business person, and he's highly spiritual. So it's been a blessing to having you guys around. Thank you so very much. God bless you,
guys.
God bless everyone who has joined us today.
Bye.
Thank you, and bye.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, bye. Cheers.
All right.
Bye-bye. Awesome.